Good evening, everyone. I'm Kat Sladden, and at Breakthrough, we're seeking your support for our Social Justice Campaigns Accelerator. So it was a blustery day, spring 2018, and Ed Duffan said to me, "Hold your nose, Kat, we're going into the belly of the beast." And myself, Ed, who'd escaped from the 16th floor of the Grenfell Tower fire, Ahmed, who'd lost his mum and his sister on the top floor, and a father who'd spent months after the fire praying for his family to recover in hospital. We all held our noses, and it was our little symbolic protest as we headed through the revolving doors into News HQ and the centre of the Murdoch empire. So we'd managed to negotiate a meeting with the deputy editor of the Times through our networks. It was years, just after the fire, all the politicians were making a series of promises of what they do. But months later, those promises fall away and they were being forgotten. So not much was changing. And a group called Grenfell United, who were made up of survivors and bereaved from the fire, asked me to help them. They wanted to make change that no one would have to go through what they went through. They wanted to see reforms to building safety and also for social housing tenants to be treated better. And they wanted to become a campaigning force, not just seen as victims. So we spent time together figuring out a strategy, and we knew that with a Conservative government in power, winning over the Times, winning over the centre-right media was going to be essential. And at the time, the Times were writing a lot of stories about these crazy activists from Grenfell, so they were being written off. So that was why we're holding our noses and heading into the meeting with the editors there. And in the weeks after that meeting, the Times ran a leading editorial piece backing Grenfell United, and the entire tone of their coverage changed, and that would be essential to our cause. How could they not change their minds? When you come face to face with people who've been through tragedy and injustice, you look them in the eyes and hear their stories, you leave wanting to back them. It's a story I've seen so many times in my work. Prejudice fall away, and people with direct experience advocating for themselves becomes one of the most powerful ways change can happen. So skip forward a few months later, and the government was failing on the promise it had made to review social housing policy. And so we went to the Times, our friends now, and they ran this story. And let me tell you, when you call a Conservative minister incompetent in a Times headline, they call you very quickly to try and fix the situation. And this is actually Kit Malthouse, Housing Minister at the time, scrawling his mobile number on the top saying, "Please don't do this again. Please call me. How can we fix this?" That's campaign strategy in action. And so what happened was he set up meetings with the civil servants, and Grenfell United survivors and bereaved got to sit directly with civil servants who are holding the pen on rewriting the social housing white paper. I was struck by a few things at my time working with Grenfell United. It reminded me, as I've said, that some of the most powerful change happens when people who have directly experienced injustice campaign for change themselves. We've seen it recently from big campaigns like the post office scandal, but also smaller campaigns like 15-year-old Natasha's family, who got Pret and the law to change after she died from eating a Pret sandwich. For me, I think it's how entrenched issues of injustice can be overturned when a new voice cuts through and speaks authentically about what's really going on for people. But despite this potential, too often there is little to no support for people who are campaigning from their direct experience. In the weeks after the Grenfell fire, the cladding companies and other business involved hired the best PR companies and lobbyists money could buy. The families had none of that on their side. And despite some of the well-known successes that we've seen, lots of campaigns don't succeed. Some never manage to get noticed, others take years to cut through, like Windrush. And for every successful headline of someone who's campaigning and covered in the media, behind the scenes, they're sacrificing their own well-being and income to speak up. I speak to so many celebrated campaigners, and if you talk to them privately, they're burning out and on the verge of giving up because they're so lonely and unsupported in their work. So that's why I founded Breakthrough. Oh, this was another stunt I was going to tell you about. We'll come back to that if we have time. We're a non-profit focused on supporting people with direct experience of injustice to lead, win and grow national campaigns. Our flagship programme is a year-long accelerator. And what we do is we give deep strategic advice through a series of workshops where we really sit down with people and help them figure out how are they going to get to the change that they want to make. We also give them access to networks, so introductions to journalists, creatives, or former government advisors to get the inside track. Often trying to make change is really about who you know. So let's open our black books and give them to people that need them the most. And we also give them resource and capacity. So we literally roll up our sleeves and they get dedicated time from us to help them. Right now, we're working with Zelda Perkins, who blew the whistle on Harvey Weinstein, a group of nannies campaigning for change, for fair working conditions in the new gig economy. And we're also starting to work with Kwejo Teneboa, who is here tonight, an incredible social housing activist in his own right. So the work is deeply personal, but it's also deeply impactful. We're aiming for national policy change. We're a small organisation, just 2 of us at the moment, and we have a lot of help from a wider network that believe in this work. But our ambitions are high to build the infrastructure for people-powered campaigners to achieve change. And support from the funders network tonight would go to our next accelerator programme. It starts in September, and we want to be able to support 3 new groups with the deep support that they need to make impact. So if you agree with me that backing people with direct experience to lead change matters, then please join us. Thank you.